1200 BC. The civilized world is at its peak. From Greece to Egypt to Babylon, the great empires are wealthy, sophisticated, and connected by a global trade network. They have standing armies, massive temples, and complex bureaucracies, but the entire system rests on a single, fragile foundation: bronze. For 2,000 years, bronze has been the plastic of the ancient world. It is the material of tools, the material of art, and most importantly, the material of war. If you have bronze, you have power. If you don't, you are a slave. But there is a problem with the business model of the Bronze Age. Bronze is not a natural element. It is an alloy, a recipe. To make it, you need 90% copper, which is common. But you also need 10% tin, and tin is the rarest metal on Earth. In the ancient world, tin is harder to find than gold. It is found in only a few remote places, modern-day Afghanistan, or the distant coasts of Britain. To make a single sword, an empire needs a supply chain that stretches thousands of miles through hostile territory. The economy of the ancient world is a house of cards. If the trade routes are cut, the tin stops. If the tin stops, the weapons stop. And if the weapons stop, the empire dies. But up in the mountains of Anatolia, in what is now Turkey, a mysterious empire, known as the Hittites, is working on a secret project. They are the underdogs of the ancient world, surrounded by giants, but they are sitting on top of a resource that nobody else wants: iron. To the Egyptians and the Greeks, iron is a joke. It is a trash metal. It's ugly, it rusts, and it is impossible to melt. If you put copper in a fire, it turns to liquid. If you put iron in a fire, it just gets hot. You can't cast it into a mold. But the Hittite engineers discover something that changes history. They realize that you don't need to melt the iron. You have to beat it into submission. This is the birth of the blacksmith. It requires a technological leap that is the ancient equivalent of splitting the atom.
Bronze is easy. You just melt it and pour it like batter. But iron fights you. The Hittites had to figure out how to rearrange the atomic structure of a rock without ever actually melting it.
The Hittites invent the bloomery, a superheated furnace fed by charcoal and driven by bellows. They don't melt the rock. They cook it until the impurities burn away, leaving a spongy, glowing mass called a bloom. Then, they hammer it, over and over again. They realign the molecular structure of the metal, forcing carbon from the charcoal into the lattice of the iron. They aren't just making a new metal. They are inventing steel's grandfather. The result is a weapon that is lighter, harder, and holds an edge longer than bronze. But the real advantage isn't the quality, it's the economics. Iron ore is everywhere. It is in the swamps, the mountains, and the riverbeds. If you know the secret of how to forge it, you don't need a global supply chain. You don't need tin from Afghanistan. You can dig your weapon out of your own backyard. For centuries, the Hittites guard this secret with their lives. It is a state monopoly. The penalty for exporting iron technology is death. They become the arms dealers of the Near East, selling small amounts to kings for exorbitant prices, while stockpiling the knowledge for themselves. But in 1177 BC, the world ends. Historians call it the Bronze Age collapse. A mysterious confederation of raiders known as the Sea Peoples sweeps across the Mediterranean. They aren't conquering, they are burning. They cut the trade routes. The shipments of tin stop arriving in Egypt and Greece. The global economy crashes. The great Bronze Age superpowers, Mycenae, the Minoans, the Babylonians, begin to starve and crumble. They have run out of the raw materials to defend themselves. But amidst the chaos, the Hittite monopoly is broken. As their empire falls, their smiths scatter. The secret escapes the lab. Suddenly, the knowledge of iron smelting goes open source. It spreads to the Philistines, it spreads to the Assyrians, and it changes the nature of warfare forever.
It was the first case of industrial espionage on a global scale. One day, the secret belongs to the king of the Hittites. The next day, it's being sold in every bazaar from Tyre to Babylon.
In the Bronze Age, equipping a soldier was like buying a Ferrari. It was expensive. Only the elite, the nobility, and the palace guards could afford armor and swords. Battles were decided by small groups of wealthy champions. Iron changes the math. Iron is the Ford Model T. It is cheap, ugly, and effective. Now, a king doesn't need a trade route to build an army. He just needs wood and dirt. Suddenly, you can arm the peasant. You can arm the farmer. You can field an army of 10,000 men for a fraction of the cost of a Bronze Age platoon.
The Assyrians were the first to realize that standardization wins wars. Every helmet was the same, every spear was the same. It was the first time an army looked like a factory product.
The Assyrians are the first to fully industrialize this new technology. They become the world's first military machine. They equip every single soldier with iron helmets, iron breastplates, and iron weapons. They build massive, iron-tipped battering rams that smash through the mud brick walls of the old cities like they are made of paper. The Bronze Age empires didn't just lose a war. They were priced out of the market. They were obsolete. The transition takes centuries, but the result is absolute. The world shifts from a landscape of a few, fragile, elite empires to a world of massive, sprawling, iron-fisted superpowers. This metal didn't just change warfare. It changed agriculture.
The iron plowshare was the first tool strong enough to cut through the heavy, wet clay of Northern Europe. Without it, civilizations like the Celts and the Germans could never have supported large populations. They would have remained small tribes forever.
An iron plow can cut through heavy clay soil that would snap a wooden or bronze plow in half. Farmers can now till the tough soil of Europe and the deep valleys of Asia. Populations explode, cities grow larger than ever before. We are still living in the age that started in those Hittite furnaces. Look around you. The skeleton of your office building, the chassis of your car, the hull of the ship bringing your goods. It's all iron. The Bronze Age collapsed because it relied on a resource that was rare and foreign. The Iron Age succeeded because it relied on a resource that was common and domestic. The Hittites are long gone. Their palaces are dust. But the secret they forged in the mountains of Anatolia is still the backbone of modern civilization. They proved that the most valuable asset isn't gold or land. It's technology. And the metal that forged empires was the one that was hiding in plain sight all along.